At this point, if we try to access dangerous API on get customer by email, with email like this, the API will allow it, although it raises an exception. Let's face it, in real world, we sometimes missing something like validating this input. The danger is, Spring, by default, tell the attacker a full stack trace of exception. If we see the stack trace, we gain some valuable information, like the table name and column names we use in query. To avoid it, don't give full stack trace to the client. Instead, we log the stack trace or message, then just send some generic error message to client. Create a new class to represent this generic error message. Create class API error message. On package exception.handler. It will just have one field, error message. Create getters and setters. Create a constructor that will initialize the error message. Then we will use Spring exception handler. Still on package exception.handler. Create class API exception handler. Annotate it as Spring REST controller advice. Inside the class, we will need log. And a generic error message. Then, create a method to handle SQL exception, which usually thrown where there is a database-related error. Annotate the method as exception handler for SQL exception. Inside the method body, we will log the actual error message that can be useful for our internal investigation and give only generic error message as API response in case any SQL exception thrown. This is just an example, so we only handle SQL exception. In reality, you might want to handle other type of exception too. Now try it. Try to access dangerous API again with parameter as before. The API will allow it, but instead giving full stack trace, now the client only gets generic message.